Hey friend, welcome to the Bible Tract Echoes radio broadcast. I can't tell you how excited I am for the fact that you've joined us here on the last day of the week for Bible Tract Echoes. Of course, we start a new week next week, but I'm thankful for the opportunity to fellowship with you today. We've had some folks, because of the broadcast this week, the broadcasts, plural, this week, where we've been listening to a message from the past, Dr. Paul Levin's message titled, God's Plan for Paul. We've had a lot of folks ask, how can I know more about this Dr. Paul Levin character? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me encourage you to go to our website. You can find a sample booklet there that tells you a lot about our ministry, not only what's going on currently, but we are big believers in having a good heritage and taking care of our heritage. Our desire is that no moss grows on the headstones of our founder and those that came before us. Now, thankfully, my predecessor, Dr. Mark Smith, Pastor Mark Smith, my friend, Brother Mark, he's still kicking. He is still pastoring in Western Pennsylvania, doing a phenomenal job there. I'm so very thankful for him. But those that came before us, we're very proud of the fact that we get to associate ourselves with them, but we also take as a massive responsibility carrying on their legacies going forward. And so if you'd like to know more about Dr. Paul Levin, let me encourage you to go to BibleTractsInc.org, BibleTractsInc.org, and you can order your very own sample booklet today. We'll get them out to you as soon as we can. Sometimes the lead times, because we have so many ordered, they can be 2 and 3 and 4 weeks at times. And so be patient with us if you don't mind. Realize, of course, that our ministry prints, produces, distributes, ships all over the world, and we do so free as the Lord provides. Our goal, our desire is the Word of God to all the world. That's how we started with Dr. Paul Levin all the way back in 1938. But if you'd like to know more about our ministry, have so many people that contact us wanting our gospel tracts, and we're thankful for it. If you'd like to partner with us in any way, maybe just through prayer, maybe you'd say, I'm going to commit to spending maybe 2 minutes, maybe just 1 minute in prayer each and every day. You do that math, that adds up. 365 minutes in a year. What is that, about 5 hours or thereabouts? Let me encourage you, if you would consider partnering with us in prayer, I would be very grateful to you. We need your prayers far more than we need your money. Let me encourage you to pray for us and pray intelligently by going to our website and learning more about us, ordering one of our sample booklets. Now, today on the broadcast, we're going to listen to Dr. Paul Levin conclude his message, God's Plan for Paul. Listen now.
God's plan, and not only for salvation and service, but success. God doesn't plan failures, does He? You think God plans? No. God doesn't plan for you to be a failure, son. He plans for you to be a success. And right there in the red shirt, orange shirt, God planned for you to be a success. He's got plans for you, not to be a failure anywhere, but to be a success. Look at the Apostle Paul. He was a smashing success as a pastor, as a church founder, as an evangelist, as a missionary, as a writer of half of the books of the Bible. And right today, people are being saved. Right today, people are being blessed and helped and encouraged and helped to grow in the Christian life through the writings of the Apostle Paul, who's been dead for nearly 2,000 years, and the success of his life is still working, and you are being blessed through a man that died 2,000 years ago because God took him, a hater of Christians, turned him around, and He did it because he yielded his life to Christ, and now you are being blessed through his life. Now, wouldn't you like to be like that? Wouldn't you like to say, man, I'd like to know God's plan for my life. I'd like to be a success. You can be. In just a moment, we're going to ask you to do the greatest thing you've ever done. And that is, if you've never accepted Christ, accept Him tonight, like Paul did on that Damascus road. And something else. And this includes all you Christians. You say, Lord, what do you want me to do? And you say, Lord, you just show me what it is. He won't show you it all tonight. He just wants you to be willing, that's all. And when you yield your life to Him, then step by step, He'll lead you on. Oh, He's got His eye on you, young man. He's got His eye on you, young lady. You are somebody important to God. There's a man by the name of Paul Hutchins wrote a lot of books called the Sugar Creek Gang books. Anybody ever hear of Sugar Creek Gang books? Sure you have. He's a personal friend of mine. And he died when he was living out in Colorado Springs. He used to live in Indiana. A creek ran near his farm, Sugar Creek. That's where they get the name of the Sugar Creek Gang books. Did you know when Paul Hutchins was 12 years old, he went to a revival meeting? Told me this himself. The evangelist got up and said, now if you want to be saved, you walk down this aisle and we'll show you how to be saved. And Paul Hutchins, 12 years old, marched down that aisle. He stood over there. And the evangelist paid no attention to him. And the pastor paid no attention to him. And there wasn't a deacon or a Sunday school teacher or anybody else who taught enough of that 12-year-old boy to walk up there and talk to him and help him. You talk about feeling left out and forgotten and ignored and snubbed. He stood there. He told me, he said he wiggled around so that evangelist be sure to see him. Here I am. You said, come on down here, help me. Here I am. And you know what? They paid no attention to him. They avoided him. Why? Because he's just a dumb 12-year-old kid, doesn't know anything. That's why. But while they were passing him by, there was a Jesus in heaven who saw him. He said, I want that 12-year-old boy. And you know what? God saved him that same night. He went back to his seat and got saved anyhow, in spite of all those backsliders around there. See? He got saved, gave his life to God. He found out who Jesus was, that he loved him and wanted to save him. And then he said, Lord, what do you want me to do? And God made an evangelist out of him, and he preached and preached. Traveled with a singer by the name of Eldred Farrar until Paul got tuberculosis. And then he went to a typewriter, and he blessed millions of Christians with his typewriter and with his books. See? Now look, God has a plan for you, young man, young lady. Don't pass it by. Don't sit there and say, well, that doesn't mean anything to me. It better mean something to you. The devil's got a few plans for you too. And they're all for misery and unhappiness and slavery and early death. There was a little boy out in Iowa, just a little kid. Nobody paying attention to him. You say, nobody pays any attention to me. Well, God does. Listen to this. This little guy out in Iowa was an orphan in an orphan's home. And he got a little older. He got to where he liked to play ball. And when he got a little older, up in his late teens, he decided to try out with one of the Chicago major league teams. And to make the short story long, they put him on they found out he was the fastest runner in the big leagues. And they hired him. And he played center field. And then one Saturday night, when they didn't have lights to play under, some of the team was just roaming around the streets of Chicago. And here, out on the street corner, was a little band of people from the Pacific Garden Mission playing some instruments and having some songs and testimonies. And they said, come on down to the mission, we'll tell you more. And I don't remember if it was the first night or one of the other nights, but one night, Billy Sunday was his name. He got up and he said to the ball players, we've come to the parting of the ways. He said, I'm going down there. And this young ball player went down to the mission, and there he heard about Jesus. And then he said, what do you want me to do? And so he continued to play ball for a little while. He was a Christian now. And God's got a plan for him, boy. You talk about plans. Here he is playing in the big leagues. Big salaries, a lot of people, crowds, excitement, popularity. And he began to give his testimony at different places. And then he quit his job in the big leagues. And he went to work for the YMCA at a very meager salary. You say, why would he go work for the YMCA? Because in those days, the YMCA was a soul-winning organization. It's a lot different now. And then one day, after he'd been giving some little talks around, a pastor said to him, hey, Billy, I want you to come to my church, preach every night for a whole week. And Billy Sunday said, I couldn't do that. I said, why not? Because he said, that'd take 8 sermons. He said, I don't have 8 sermons. And the pastor said, I believe that if you'd come, God would help you and give you 8 sermons. So Billy Sunday said, I believe he would too. So to make sure God did, he went and bought a book by Wilbur Chapman and preached 8 of those sermons. And that's the way he got started in evangelistic ministry. Do you know, young men, listen to me. Here's a little farmer, here's a little boy, an orphan boy in an orphan's home. Nobody thought much about that little kid, but God had plans for him and made him the greatest evangelist of his day, and 1 million people came to Jesus Christ in his tabernacle meetings. And I tell you that because I want you to know that God can do the same thing with you. Whatever his plan is for you, all you got to do is say, yes, Lord, I'll accept you, and Lord, what do you want me to do? If you don't, only God knows what will happen to you. They're going to have a revival meeting in a certain town. One young man said, when the evangelist comes and they have the meetings, I'm going. The other was a smart aleck. He said, I'm not going. And he didn't. The other one went to the meetings and got saved. Some years later, we started reading in our newspapers about Killer Burke. Killer Burke had murdered 19 people. He was number 1 on the FBI list. They were looking for him. They found him in Michigan. They didn't have capital punishment there, so they sentenced him to life in prison. That was the smart aleck who said, I'm not interested in who Jesus is, and I'm not interested in what he wants me to do. But the one that really had some sense says, I'm interested in Jesus. I'm interested in what he wants me to do. He became an evangelist who died about maybe 20 years ago, and quite well known. His name was Harry Von Bruck. One of them went this way with the Lord and was a success. The other one went that way and was a failure, and so far as we know, went to hell, and that's it. Let's bow in prayer.
Hey friend, let me encourage you as we conclude this week of broadcasts, don't let it pass you by. Don't let it pass you by the opportunity to participate, to be an active participant, to be a glad participant in God's plan for your life. Don't let it pass you by. There is no better way to live, no more peaceful, no more productive, no more powerful way to live than by allowing Him to have full control over your life. So don't let it pass you by. Once again, I'm so thankful for the opportunity to speak to you today. Let me encourage you, as always, to have a great day for His glory, and make sure to join us next week right here on Bible Tract Echoes. Maybe, just maybe, invite a friend with you next week. God bless.